try to nap some Citronelle today. I cleaned up my rock this weekend, built my little organization shelf back here and sorted everything by rock type. Found a lot of stuff I didn't know I had. But this is kind of a common sized piece of Citronelle. Got that nice mustardy yellow color in there. Usually works pretty good. I think this has been heat treated. But it's got a few problems on there. It's got this big hingy stack right here we got to deal with, and it's pretty small. I love this material when it's heated right, when it's high quality, and it just does really well. Almost hate to nap, so I've got everything picked up out here and everything's cleaned out. But we're going to start out with some indirect and try to square off this cortex off the edge and off this end. A lot of these points that I find in Mississippi that are made out of this stuff, the Indians would leave the cortex on the bases, and you know, this is a classic example of how that cortex got left. They would thin it down, and they were making the absolute maximum they could out of the piece of gravel they had, so they would leave the cortex on the base sometimes. Let's see what we can't do here. I got kind of a good ridge right here, and what I want to do is bring this platform down so I can hit it. So now that platform's been lowered. Grind on it. And I use pretty big indirect on these small pieces because you gotta work them pretty hard early. This thing's getting worn out. We want to build a new one. For the length, I have a very good amount of width to work with. This thing broke all screwy in here because there was a freeze crack in the rock. You can see the change in color that came in right here. That's from a crack. So we may have a few other issues to contend with up there. If I hit it and it doesn't go, the best option you got is to, one of the things, not the best option you got, one of the things I like to do is try it again and change the angle a little bit. You know, the rock will tell you if you don't have things right. Hopefully it'll tell you by not sending the flake instead of just breaking. Just trying to shoot some flakes down the thickness on here. You can see where I removed stuff over here, and I've still got this one ridge to follow here. And I nap too fast sometimes. I spend more time grinding on my platforms. This stuff naps nice and smooth and feathers out, and the flake went all the way up to here and feathered out real nice and smooth. Really like this material, man. I wish it came in some big pieces. Found a guy one time that had some big pieces of it. I don't know if it wasn't heat treated right. It was a lot whiter and pinker in there, but I mean, he had some nice big pieces of it. It doesn't nap as good as the smaller stuff that's kind of mustardy colored for some reason. I got to be careful driving up into there because I've already got a hinge there. I need to fix this base up and drive across here from the base and try to get rid of that mess. Real short flakes off that back end. And it's going to fall screwy. There's a V right there. I'm gonna crack. Highly doubt I'm gonna be able to flake across that V. We'll give it a shot, but I don't think it's gonna work. It really don't matter where I try to do it from. If I try to move over and get around it, there's really no way around it. That V goes all the way across the rock. Worst thing that happens, we break it. Oops, kick my table. We can break it. Oh, I got across it. You can see that cracked out area in here, that freezed area where it changes color. You got a lot of oxidation on and patina in there. You can actually see the crack that goes around there. So maybe we can just knock that little piece off. Pull out the big gun. Man, you ain't gonna believe this. When I hit it, it hadn't come off yet. It just stayed right like that. Exactly what we wanted. So there's all that ridgy mess right there. So we got up underneath that freeze crack. It hinged out up here on the tip, but that's not a big deal. We can fix that pretty easy. But man, we did a massive amount of good right there. When I hit that, it didn't jump off. I could see the crack all the way out here at the end, and I didn't think it hit it good enough to make it release, but I could see the outline of the flake, but evidently it did release. And that's just exactly what we needed to happen right there. And that got rid of a lot of nastiness. Bless you, Cade. Maybe we'll try to make a San Patrice out of this. The San Patrice points, usually the ones we find are all worn out and they're real short. This would be a good one to do that with. Keep coming down and brushing my pants with my knuckles. I mean, it's taking the hide off of me. Why that started doing that all of a sudden. got all that hinge off that tip now. Got a little bit of a curvature to it. We're going to do something about that. It's going to make us lose some length. I almost think that these Indians that were working these little pieces of cobble like this, they had to have been using punches of some sort. Antler drifts, punches. There's just be so difficult to do direct percussion on a piece this small. When you hit it, it's going to tend to want to move your hand down because the rock doesn't have enough mass to resist the whatever you're popping it with. And on these little bitty pieces, you have to be so ultra precise. With your hits. I know there's some guys out there that are plenty capable of doing it, but it's way easier with a punch. We used to call these hobbit sticks. You know, Jack Crafty uses this same deal. His first handle I knew him by was the Allergic Hobbit. So I call these hobbit sticks. You could do the same thing with a big long antler tine. Put an antler in a stick. You can do the same thing with putting antler drifts on there and hitting it like that. I was trying to learn a flint knap, and I only had vision in one eye. Tip caught that, tore a hole in me. Only got vision in one eye, so my depth perception is just crappy. Which makes direct percussion very difficult for me. Talked about in some other videos. I'd seen a method similar to this with some guys at Knapp and Bossier City. They kind of lay it in their lap and do it. And I was looking for that technique online, and I found Jack Crafty, Allergic Hobbit. So he put together some great videos on his tools and where he got the material, what it was called. It was called ultra high weight molecular weight plastic, ultra high molecular weight plastic. Ordered it on Amazon. Used to use the white plastic, but I think he and I kind of made the transition to black about the same time. The black seems to be a little more rubbery. It seems to hold up a little better. I never broke a white plastic one, but I could see little cracks and fissures in them, stress fractures all through the plastic. As I used them, I used them for years, for probably 2-3 years. Almost every day. I don't know if any of those cracks would ever gave way, but I switched over to the black and I like it a little better. At least if it's cracking, I can't see it down in there. This stuff just feathers out really nicely, so we thinned this thing down quite a bit. Got a little bit of twist to the tip I need to get out. But if it wouldn't have been for his videos online using this under the leg horizontal punch technique with the Hobbit stick, then I probably never would have learned a nap. Because I just would get frustrated with direct percussion because of my vision. My depth perception was just terrible. Not like dropping a pencil on the floor and reaching down 3 or 4 times before you can actually grab hold of it and think you're going to get it every time. Like trick or treat every day, except all you get is tricks. Reaching for a doorknob, and I miss doorknobs all the time. Little steps up and steps down in the concrete that I can't see, like coming into doors and stuff where they just slope up. I can't see that. It trips me every time. It gets irritating. Wear your glasses. I put a tree limb through my eye. Elk hunting, I kicked the tree limb to break it, and a piece of it shot back and went right through my eye. That was the end of that hunting trip. The next 3 days in the hospital in Gunnison, having emergency eye surgery, and then drove home in the back of a Toyota Tundra, the old style, in the back seat laying down for 2 days. We got home to my mom and dad's. We had to go in and have lens replacement surgery. Go to the eye doctor about every day and let them stick a needle in my eye and let the pressure out. Think about that, doing that without glasses and get a piece of rock in your eye, get in there deep enough. Maybe you too can get to go to the eye doctor every day and get a needle stuck in your eye so they can let the pressure out so it doesn't cripple your optic nerve and make you go blind. I just got hit in the chin with a piece. So as thick as that was, as many problems as that had, we got it nice and thin right now. And it doesn't have a whole lot of twist to it, so we're going to be able to get a pretty decent point out of this stuff. I'm going to stop the video and start it again.